Okay. Lucas, welcome to the briefing room.
Thank you, General Ryder. Appreciate that. Under what circumstances would U.S. forces launch an attack on Iran?
So look, our focus is on de-escalating the situation. We have put these additional capabilities into the region to enable us, as I highlighted, to protect our forces, but also to support the defense of Israel should it be attacked. I'm not going to speculate or get into hypotheticals on when and if Iran launches an attack or one of their proxies launches an attack. Their public comments have been very clear, so we need to take those seriously. But our focus is on de-escalating tensions, working on enabling that ceasefire and getting these hostages returned home.
But isn't it important at this critical time in history that you send a very clear signal to Iran that if they launch a major attack on Israel and or its proxies, the U.S. military will attack Iran? Don't you need to send a clear signal about what Iran, if they do it, if they cross it, you will attack them?
I think we are sending an extremely clear signal, which is that we are going to support the defense of Israel as evidenced by the capabilities that, one, we already retain in the region, and two, the additional capabilities that were flowing into the CENTCOM and EUCOM AOR.
Real quick on Lincoln. The Secretary has ordered Lincoln to the Middle East twice now in over 10 days. The first time was 2 days after the Hamas leader was killed outside in Tehran. The second time was on Sunday, as you mentioned. Where was the sense of urgency for Lincoln to get to the Middle East? Lincoln was just doing an exercise with the Italian Navy on Friday. If it was so urgent for Lincoln to get to the Middle East, why did you need the second set of orders?
Well, Lucas, as a former naval officer yourself, you understand the complexities and intricacies associated with managements of large fleets around the world. And the bottom line is, again, as evidenced by the capabilities that we are surging into the region, we will have a variety of capacity and capability to respond to various contingencies. Again, the focus is on de-escalating the situation, protecting our forces, and supporting the defense of Israel. And we'll continue. And this is not a Lucas Tomlinson press conference, so I'm going to go over to Idris.
If you do this, launch this major attack, the U.S. military will strike back. Why can't you just clearly say that?
I think we've been very clear that we're going to support the defense of Israel, and I'm not going to speculate about potential future attacks by Iran. Idris.
Just a request first. I think Task and Purpose had an interview with General Vowell, OIR commander. If it would be possible to get him in the briefing room, or maybe General Kurla, to sort of talk about the force posture adjustment, I think that'd be great.
We've got to get the T-walls set up, though, first before we can do that.
Yeah. Just on the Lincoln, though, was there a written order given to the crew of the Lincoln regarding the latest ordering or accelerating?
Look, I'm not going to get into the specifics of how the Department of Defense transmit orders to its units. The bottom line is the Secretary has ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group to accelerate its deployment to the CENTCOM AOR, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think what we're confused about is, what does that mean? Because if you give an order saying going somewhere, presumably they're going as fast as they can. And what it sounds like is maybe this was more public messaging than an actual legitimate military order.
It's a legitimate military order, and it's accelerating on its mission to get to the CENTCOM AOR. And again, I'm not going to get into the in-between of when the initial order was given and what they may or may not have been doing in between then, other than to say, again, I think you need to take a step back and look at what we're attempting to do here, which is to de-escalate tensions in the region, ensure that our commanders that are in the region have the capabilities and capacity to respond to a variety of threats.
Actually say it is now going to arrive in CENTCOM earlier than it was previously.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the deployment timelines.
It's like the confusion it's causing, right?
It's not confusing to me. It's accelerating. So, yes, sir.
Thank you, General. Would it be a fair assessment to say that Israel cannot defend itself on its own, and that's why they need the U.S. military support in the region against Iran and its proxies?
Well, the U.S. and Israel have shared a long-standing security relationship, and we've been very clear, even before October 7, on the U.S. support for Israel, supporting its qualitative military edge, but also post-October 7 have been very, very clear in terms of our ironclad support for the defense of Israel. And so, as you saw on April 13, when Iran conducted its unprecedented attack, the United States, true to its word, supported the defense of Israel.
Just one more. So is this a just-in-case situation, or is this military support indispensable? Because you've got the F-35s, F-22s, F-18s, 16s, 15s, the warships, the air defense systems, the troops, everything, like, the whole 9 yards. Is this just in case or indispensable?
Well, again, I'd go back to what I said at the top. And I think it's important not to look at the individual parts, but look at what it is that we're trying to do here, which is deter a wider regional conflict, prevent a regional war in a very tense Middle East, with Iran threatening to retaliate and to use potentially overwhelming force. And we, again, have been very clear in our commitment to aid in the defense of Israel. No one wants to see escalation. No one wants to see a wider regional conflict. So, hopefully we don't find ourselves in a situation of having to employ those capabilities. But if we need to in the defense of Israel, we will. And so just leave it there. Charlie.
Yes, whatever term we want to use in terms of accelerating, it's still going to take a while, 7 to 10 days. I know you want to talk about timelines, but perhaps more urgently, and something that's already in the neighborhood, is the submarine. The fact that it was announced, what does it bring to this fight?
It's a nuclear-powered guided missile submarine. Provides, again, additional capabilities to the commanders, the U.S. commanders in the region, in terms of not only supporting the defense of Israel, but also protecting our forces. And again, the message here is deterring potential aggression. It's not unprecedented that we will highlight the movement of submarines. But again, it's important to look at this in the context of the broader U.S. military force posture in the region, which is to help protect our forces, support the defense of Israel, and again, deter aggression and aim to de-escalate the situation.
Capable of carrying as many as 175 Tomahawk cruise missiles?
Look, the United States military is the most powerful in the world. We have these capabilities, and again, I'm not going to belabor the point, but the goal here is to de-escalate the situation and ensure that we can support the defense of Israel should we need to do that. Janie.
Thank you, General. Two questions. On the establishment of the strategic command, does the Pentagon support the completion of the establishment of the South Korean military strategic command? And I have another. And can we expect the establishment of the U.S. ROK, integrated strategic command?
Certainly that's a decision for the Republic of Korea to make, to determine whether or not they stand up a strategic command. As it relates to that new organization, as I understand it, it will primarily interact with U.S. Forces Korea, which is how the U.S. military interacts with the Republic of Korea. But as you know, we are close allies, and we will continue to work together very closely when it comes to the defense of the peninsula and broader regional security and stability throughout the Indo-Pacific.